Good morning, it's Dave at All Things Important Reviews. Thanks for checking my channel out. Please smash that subscribe button, please smash that like button. Thought I'd do a video today on bracelet types, because there's many different bracelets out there, and there is no question about it that of all the watch types, the various different bracelets do feel extremely different depending on which bracelet type you have. It's unbelievable actually how they can make a watch feel differently. So I thought I'd do a comparison of all the different types of bracelets that I regularly use, although some now actually I don't regularly use anymore because I just have preferences. And I thought I'd discuss the fit and feel of them. All these, well, let's start with, so this is obviously a PHYLIDA homage watch. This is a homage of the Omega Seamaster 300M diver, and this is one of the most iconic bracelets, this style of bracelet, in the whole world. This is what James Bond popularized in the 1990s, and this bracelet I'm classing, for the purposes of argument, I am classing it as a 9-link bracelet, although that's because there are actually, I don't know if you can see this, but there are actually 9 links there, even though that they have been welded together, or they have been connected together. I believe they originally was. Can you see? Can you see how there's 3 links there, even though they are probably welded together? So really it's only a 5-link, but for the purposes of this video we'll call it a 9-link. Notice as well how the bracelet on these homages and on the real Omegas do not taper. They remain at 20 mil all the way down to clasp. Now then we've got the 5-link, which is obviously, this is a Pagani design, PD1661. This is obviously homaging the Rolex Jubilee band. This is much less substantial. There is less steel here. Obviously it has a huge taper from, I think, 20 to 16 mil, and there are bigger gaps, and there is less steel, and there is loads of points of articulation. So this is one of, if not the most comfiest bracelets. If you define comfy to mean the watch doesn't feel like it's on the wrist, it removes the weight of the watch, this one does that the most, in my opinion. Then we have a kind of rounded 3-link that's also similar to a Jubilee style band, but this one is homaging the Rolex Presidential bracelet. Again, extremely comfortable, loads of points of articulation. You can get this off Gekota. They do loads of good bands and bracelets and all sorts of stuff. And now is one of my daily favourites, and that would be the 3-link or the Oyster style band that has been popularised by Rolex. So this obviously has 3 big links that do taper significantly, but they are chunky, moderately chunky, and there is a lot of steel here. Now, one benefit of this style of band, this style of 3-link, is that unlike the 5-link or the Jubilee style, the watch is better supported on the wrist. So when you're wearing it, it stays in position better than if you wear it the Jubilee style. Now, that's one thing that many people don't tell you, but it is actually true in my honest opinion. So I now probably generally prefer this style, the 3-link. Even though there is no question about it, the Jubilee style makes the watch disappear on the wrist or feel like it isn't there. But that means that with the way that I wear my bracelets now, which is moderately loose, I used to wear them dead tight, but as I've got older, I prefer them to be looser. Because if you're wearing them with a shirt at work or something like that, I just felt as though it would aggravate me throughout the day if it kept catching, you know, between the hand and the wrist joint. If you wear the bracelet too tight, when you walk and gravity pulls the watch down, it can dig in. And so the only way around that, in my opinion, is to wear the watch looser. And that's what I've got used to wearing it now. And I find that on a looser watch, the Jubilee style band, sorry, the Oyster style band, 3-link, supports it better and keeps it in position better. Even though, in the sense of making the watch feel more comfy, in the sense of the watch not feeling like it's there, you know, decreasing the weight of the watch, the Jubilee style is better. They're both absolutely excellent bracelets. Now, this is a Victorinox 2-link, although really it's a 3-link, but that central link is one piece of steel. Now, this feels very, very similar to a 3-link Oyster style, but it isn't an Oyster style, obviously. This is its own, I don't know what you'd really call this bracelet, but this is this Victorinox. Because of the weight of this watch, this is a 200-meter water resist tank. This has been put through unbelievable tests by Victorinox to give it this design standard where it can withstand, I think a tank has rolled over it or something. It's really, really powerful watch. And so obviously it's probably about 200 and something grams. It's unbelievably heavy. It's like 13.5 mil thick, 43 mil diameter. So this watch obviously requires, because the head is so heavy, it obviously requires a big fat chunky bracelet to keep it in position. Now that fits really perfectly in position, but obviously this watch, with it being so heavy, if I continue to wear this for 6 hours, 8 hours, it becomes uncomfortable because it is too heavy. But because that band is so well balanced and does not taper and is so fat and only has moderate points of articulation, the head of the watch is completely supported, and the head of the watch, you know, will not jiggle around and move around loads because the bracelet is appropriate for the watch. Now, if I was to put this, I was to remove this bracelet and put it on a Milanese strap. Milanese is like a fine little mesh with loads of interwoven strands of steel linked together. Now, this is extremely light and many people think it's extremely comfy. But if I was to put this on a heavy-headed watch like the Victorinox, the head would not be supported. It'd be moving around everywhere and it would feel terrible, in my opinion. That's why I never wear NATO bands. I absolutely hate them, and I'll never ever wear them on this channel because I never wear them in my daily life. Now, what do I think is my favourite? Of all the style of watches, okay, it depends on the watch head, essentially. But when you've got a thick watch, now this is quite thick, this is 14 mil thick. But on this is obviously a homage to the 300M Omega Diver. When you, I'm trying to get to focus on that, but it won't. When you wear a thick watch, generally speaking, if the watch is very big and very thick, the 3-link, depending on which one you get, but if you get an Oyster style 3-link, it will throughout the day make it feel less comfortable than if you put it on this 9-link or this 5-link with lots of points of articulation. And because it doesn't taper, it actually balances the head of the watch extremely, extremely well. I would say this one, I would say this is a go-between the 5-link, the Jubilee style 5-link, or the Oyster 3-link style. it's in between both for comfort and fit, and it is probably now my favourite style of band to put. I also think it looks probably the best as well. I think it looks brilliant. It looks more, this style has been done too much and has been completely overdone and copied by loads of companies in the world. And this one, although it does look really, it almost looks too dressy, but it looks great, but it looks very kind of dressy. And I know in America, it's been regarded as kind of an old man's band, which is ridiculous. But a lot of old people buy like Datejusts when they retire and stuff. And so they wear like, you know, a two-tone Datejust, and it's been associated with older people. But I think that this style, you know, it makes the watch disappear, but it also keeps it in position very well because it doesn't really taper. Now, I would actually prefer this to have a small taper, say 2mm. So, you know, going from 20 to 18mm, or even 20 to 16mm, but that may be too much on this watch. And I think that many people who haven't tried this bracelet will be very, very impressed. There are different versions of this bracelet. On the latest one that Omega do, they've chosen to put even thicker links, which is overkill in my opinion. But the real Omega clasp is superior to this because you have a ratcheting push button micro adjust thing in the middle, which allows you a bit like on a Rolex Glide Lock, but you just push a button here and you can knock it out 2mm, 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 and so you have on the fly adjustment. Whereas with this one, that is homage from an older Omega bracelet that was made from 2012 to 2018. Obviously they've also made it from early 90s, I believe, but they've improved it, and because them ones only had pins in this, these do have screws. I can't show you because it won't focus, but yeah. But I'm waiting for Pagani to send me their homage, their 1685, and I am gonna put it on an aftermarket bracelet that has the ratcheting clasp, and I'm going to show you how good that is because it is absolutely amazing. Because my friend has a real latest Seamaster 300M diver, and it is absolutely fantastic. But it is a heavy watch because they've upped the links. I think the links on this are perfect. Essentially, it's just the clasp that they need to upgrade. So overall, then, I believe for overall bang for buck, the best one is probably this style or this style, I think. But this 3-link style, if the watch is very big and heavy, it can make the watch feel uncomfortable throughout the day on some watches. Not on this 40mm Pagani. Again, on the 2-link or the modified 3-link, whatever you want to call it, it supports the watch excellently, but it makes the watch heavy, and throughout the day can be more uncomfortable if you're wearing it with a super thick fat watch like this 43mm. The Milanese style, these are very, very light on the wrist, but they do not properly support heavy watches, and so the watch will move around on the wrist, a bit like this one. That is super comfortable, but you know, it's almost feels like there's nothing there. But again, do I prefer that feeling to the watch staying in position at the level of looseness that I wear it? Now I know that, no I don't, I do prefer that. Now, I know some people that wear watches up here, and I have no idea how they do that, because when they walk, the watch just falls down. So do they constantly push it to the back? I've noticed some people have a massive wrist bone. Maybe that stops it from going down, but I don't. So for me, I keep my watches here because that's where I'm most comfortable. So if you're doing it here, it's got to be looser in my opinion, or it just digs in. So for that, that's the reason why. If I wore one of these, this 5-link style, maybe I could make it tighter if I put it further up the wrist, but I do not prefer that feeling of the wrist. I don't prefer it. But you're going to find that this style and this style and this style give the most feeling of the watch. It reduces the weight of the watch because there's less steel there, there's more points of articulation. But this style, and this style keeps the watch better supported on the wrist and is also comfortable, with this one being even more comfortable than these two. So overall, my favourite is probably this one. Second favourite is this one. Third favourite is the Jubilee style, or the 5-link. Thanks a lot for checking out my videos. There's going to be loads of excellent reviews coming up once they come in from China. I've also got some other watches that are nothing to do with I've got some micro bands coming in. I am extremely busy at the minute, but I'm going to try and get the uploads coming. Thanks a lot for watching my videos. Cheers.